Hello students, I am back with you to teach the second module on the paper Women's Development and Empowerment. We are learning the unit 1, Understanding Gender and Society. Today's topic is Gender Roles, Power and Inequalities. We have learnt in the previous module on gender difference, stereotypes and bias that gender is biologically determined and socially constructed. This module will introduce you to gender roles. Gender roles are formed through socialization, process that begins at birth and is extended in our lifetime. Do you know how? Through family, education, peer, groups and mass media. These are the agents of gender socialization which continuously teaches and reminds us of socially accepted and appropriate gender roles according to the norms or standards created by our society. Almost in all world societies, man's gender roles known as masculine roles are recognized as power, control and dominance. On the contrary, women's gender roles known as feminine roles are recognized as passive, nurturer and subordinate. These are binary opposite gender roles between men and women. This gender role differences certainly lead to inequalities among sexes in society. In some societies, the gender roles between men and women are markedly different. Such societies are more gender unequal. In other societies, men and women share similar kind of gender roles. Such societies are more or less gender equal. But no society is absolutely equal, giving equal opportunity to men and women at the same time. Therefore, inequality exists in some form or other. The global aim is to eradicate gender inequalities by all means and make every society gender equal. According to Subhashini Mahapatra, in her book on status of women towards empowerment, equality is proclaimed in principle, but inequality reigns supreme in practice. The objective and learning outcome of this module is to introduce gender roles which originate from gender-based division of labor, to point out male domination, power and control on women and society. This is popularly known as patriarchy. And to develop the understanding of how sexual inequality leads to social inequality. Let us now understand what is gender role. Role is the socially expected behavior from individuals like us in society. Roles are performed by all of us. According to the accepted social norms and shared rules found in each of our society. Roles guide our behaviors in a specific social situation or setting. Roles give us social status and determine what social privileges and responsibilities we have under our individual social status. Social status is an individual's position in society, how he or she is defined or treated in the society and by the society. Social roles and statuses are always gender-based. For example, as female and male, mother and father, daughter and son, we have different social statuses dependent on different normative roles required from each of us in our society. The role and status of woman, wife, mother and daughter is socially ascribed or expected as loving, caring, nurturing, self-sacrificing, homemaking and being peaceful. The role and status of man, husband, father, son is socially ascribed or expected as head of the household, breadwinner, disciplinarian, home technology expert, ultimate decision maker in family and society. However, society sometimes allow us some flexibility in performing our social or gender-based roles. But in most cases, gender roles are rigid and conservative, and the society hesitates to allow us to exchange our given gender-based roles. During the times of rapid state of social change like revolution, civil war, social movement alike, we are confused of the socially acceptable role limits that create uncertainty in our minds about what appropriate role behavior is accepted by the changing society. Now the question is, do we need any change in our status or position in society as women? To change our status, we need to change our gender-based roles or adopt other gender-based roles or men's roles. Changing gender roles are difficult in both ways, to initiate and to achieve in society, since socially appropriate roles of male and female are formed within us through the process of socialization and division of labor. This we see widely in our family and society. In fact, we find striking dualistic difference in male to female gender roles in family, in school, colleges, institutions, in workplaces, in governmental and non-governmental organizations, in political agencies, in public places, in private places, and we can go on. We socialize gender-based roles from childhood to adolescence so that we can adapt easily the socially accepted behaviors permitted under the norms and customs of our society and culture. In almost every cultural, religious, ethnic, class, caste, and other social groups, gender is an important dimension of socialization. Parents and family members are the main people responsible for gender role socialization. They provide their boy and girl child different kinds of dresses, toys, games, skills, training, education, experiences, and environmental surroundings. All this is to ensure that socially appropriate and accepted gender-based roles are socialized firmly within every child at family level. Parents and family members may or may not treat son and daughter differently, but consciously or unconsciously, family teaches boys and girls different approaches for problem solving to challenge themselves and towards their life decisions. Researchers argue that differential behavior by parents towards children may create gender differences in their thinking patterns and problem solving skills. This process of gender role socialization in childhood is extended from parents to family members to teachers to peers. Gender role socialization in childhood focuses on looking up to role models. During childhood socialization, we can see boys behaving more aggressively than girls because they learn it is socially accepted. While in adolescence, gender role socialization focuses on two major issues: vocational decisions and sexuality. During adolescence socialization, we see girls act more like adult women, making more compromises between work and family relationships than adult men. We can have an example in the next slide. Jo Freeman, in her book Women: A Feminist Perspective, says that minor differences in childhood can lead to larger differences in adolescence and greatest differences in later life. We have to understand that gender roles are actually reproduced from gender-based division of labor between men and women in society. Every society and culture has division of labor by gender differing from men to women. It is rooted in man's and women's socio-sexual needs and positions in the society. Gender division of labor occurs from gender discrimination in household responsibilities and tasks, between unpaid and paid work, within paid work, in public and private domain. According to the International Labour Organization, the way work is divided between men and women according to their gender roles is usually referred to as the gender division of labor. According to the gender division of labor, men do specialized, skilled and paid work outside home. Women, they tend to do non-specialized, unskilled, unpaid work inside home. Gender division of labor determines work, task, responsibilities assigned to men and women in their daily lives, and gender division of labor is even extended to the labor market. Sociologists and feminists often argue that gender roles and gender division of labor are sexist in nature and are the result of biological traits and differences between men. Division of labor is regarded in society is traditionally appropriate for both sexes. In most cultures and societies, women are solely responsible for housekeeping chores like cleaning, cooking, washing, fetching water and fuel, and small-scale agriculture. Women are also solely responsible for family care like food, health, child, adult elderly care, and value education. On the other hand, men are responsible for only technical household jobs like electrical and mechanical works, isn't it? Gender division of labor in household leads to occupational segregation in the labor market. It also leads to vocational education and training imparted along the gender line. Let's look at the example. Women participate in service sectors related to caregiving, sectors that require lesser skills and lower ranks, wages, salary, and sectors that lack decision making and career advancement. While men hold hierarchical and superior position in society and therefore participate in manufacturing sectors related to socio-economic political control, sectors that require more skills and higher ranks, wages, salary, and sectors that promise decision making and career advancement. However, gender division of labor is never permanent. It changes with social, economic, and political changes in wider society, state, nation, region, or at global level. But traditional gender division of labor is not usually found among migrant men and women. They may perform non-traditional gender roles in the society, may take up non-traditional jobs in the labor market, or may even do non-traditional tasks in the household. Gender role socialization and gender division of labor are founded on the patriarchal power structures of society, which give socially ascribed or credited or recognized hierarchical status to men over women. The word patriarchy stands for power and authority. Patria symbolizes possession, control, and belonging. Women are the majority to be oppressed by patriarchy, but patriarchy also oppresses all marginalized categories like gender, age, caste, class, color, ethnicity, religion, language, and whatever else caught in its web of authority. Patriarchy can be extended to almost every direction: philosophy, law, governance, economy, society, and family. The roots of patriarchy lie in the myths of every religion, as if the Almighty or Creator or God has created the world revolving around the power of man and the subordination of woman. It is the myth that men hold power of protection and control of society, and women hold power of reproduction and motherhood. Thus, nobody should question patriarchy, since it will then critique religion, human society, and our well-being. Patriarchs are thought as men who are wise and strong, who are stern and unforgiving in nature, who conserve their energies and their wealth, including their women. Patriarch symbolizes master and father right. They have the right of ownership over the other, those who are powerless. Patriarchy has constructed the social belief that men are physically powerful, perfect human beings, and have right to authority, respect, and dignity in society. He is not a person but an institution, a mindset, a hegemony, an absolute superiority, and thus not only a protector but an oppressor. Patriarchy in India has become more powerful through the historical journey of human development and progress. As a result, women's space in society has shrunk more and more with time. This relationship between Indian men and women works only across polarities, binaries, or opposites, like men inside, women outside, men old, women young, men rich, women poor, men physical, women emotional, men abuse, women love, men powerful, women vulnerable, and more like that. The patriarchal or male-centered view of human life gives privilege to one gender over another. This has led to inability for men and women to co-work towards holistic development of our society. This conflict and opposition against other gender are rooted in the basic concept of one-sided power of man, which does not respect women's perspectives and needs. This notion dominates over all areas of human life: myth and culture, history and religious practices, language and art, socio-economic political constructs, and above all, family and society. Therefore, patriarchy leads to widespread gender-based violence and discrimination and inequality against women in all aspects of life. Patriarchal oppression may differ in degree, kinds may also differ from society to society, but gender discrimination and inequality persist in all societies. Let us best understand gender inequality in opposite to equality. Equality means greater freedom, visibility, and voice. It means more space of women in private sphere like home and public sphere like society or world. The dreams of women may differ, their struggles may differ, but all women need equal space in society and protect their human rights. Women have been excluded from human rights, from its perceptions, and from its practices since time immemorial. Social discourses have always been mindless and ignorant of gender issues. Political thinking and institutions have been based on the legitimate discrimination and degradation of women. These social, economic, and political paradigms have denied and excluded women from all its affairs. In the words of Simone de Beauvoir, woman is not regarded in society as an autonomous being. Cultural fundamentalism constructs femininity, women's virginity, virtue, and morality, restrict her social roles, prescribe her dress codes, and control her body. Throughout history, there is an over concern with female body, and male members of society are equally attracted and threatened by female body. that society practices sexual to social exclusion, segregation, division, parda, and other avoidable circumstances. Female menstrual blood is socially treated as impure. Her choice and role in procreation underplayed. Her strength in domestic chores are overplayed. Education, which is an agency of social change, is also in the hands of patriarchal power, controlled by the rich and mighty men. Gender dimensions of subordination and inequality are extensive and act as a vicious circle in society. In all social patterns, birth, education, relationships, marriage, wifehood, motherhood, and citizenship, women are caught in the power struggles under men-dominated social structures. According to Virginia Woolf, society has blocked its own potential for progress by depriving women of equal participation in socio-economic political affairs and by depriving them of equal opportunities of growth. Let us now carefully look at the different representations of gender inequality in Indian society. It is now clear from the tables, figures, and examples of gender inequality and equality present in India that in our society, gender equality is a promise that is merely expressed in more words than needed. Gender equality is a fact, but not necessarily perceived as a legal right of women. Women have therefore continued to be invisible, silenced, and submerged. The social institutions and structures, as well as the cultural milieu, continue to be apparently dominant throughout by patriarchy. Patriarchal ethos reinforces the discrimination and inequality against women. Let us finally summarize what we have learned from this module on gender roles, power, and inequalities. This module has addressed gender-based division of labor, the power of patriarchy, and the extension of sexual to social inequality. First, we have learned that sex gender system revolves around a hierarchy that advantages men over women by giving them higher status, wider opportunities, greater and more consistent material and psychological benefits. Hierarchy, it is a social structure that levels people or groups so that some have more and others have less in the way of opportunities and benefits. Such system of inequality is known as social stratification. Domination, it is a hierarchical reality in relation to some individuals or groups who are socially constructed to routinely exercise their rights to regulate other people's actions, opportunities, and outcomes. And this leads to social exploitation, social injustice, and social problems. Oppression, it is an experiential notion of domination concerning how people in the lower ranks of social hierarchy, those who are more dominated than being dominating, react over time by way of their identities, emotions, and social actions. Patriarchy, it is a social organization marked by the supremacy of male head of the clan or father in the family, the legal dependence and control of women and children, the recognition of descent and inheritance in the male line, and having a disproportionately large share of power in society. Gender role, it is a set of societal norms dictating what types of behavior are generally considered acceptable, appropriate, or desirable for a person based on their actual or perceived sex in a given cultural society. Gender roles are the behaviors, attitudes, and activities expected or common for male versus female in society. Sexual or gender inequality finally refers to the unequal treatment or perceptions of individuals based on their sex or gender. It arises from biologically inherited differences to socially constructed gender roles. Sexual or gender inequality is the dominant part of social inequality that violates human rights and social justice.